Welcome back, everybody, to the show. This is the Shankly Sessions, the Liverpool podcast we bring you nearly each and every day at this stage, and sometimes even twice a day. Not sure if you checked out the preview for the Wolves game this morning, but if you didn't, why didn't you? But this is your match reaction and player ratings. Happy to say, a much happier fan tonight, but certainly was very concerned when I seen the lineup and stuff like that. I was happy that the gaffer rang the changes, um, but he certainly did ring the changes, didn't he? And if there was a listening to the press conference yesterday, if there was ever a conversation about loyalty, you would wonder has the penny dropped, as they say. But big win for Liverpool, 1-0. Harvey Elliott getting the goal on 13 minutes, an absolute banger of a goal, and one that he can be proud of. And you can see by the celebration and all, he was delighted and running out man of the match. He was everywhere tonight. The energy expelled, you could see at the end of the game. He just collapsed onto the pitch, and I was delighted for the lad as well. And nice to see him being deployed in a forward position. Um, we have spoken a number of times that maybe one of those forward positions is where he should really be. That in midfield at times he just gets a little bit lost, and the young lad has had his fair share of criticism over the last few weeks and stuff like that in terms of his performances. And I do believe in midfield he does get a little bit lost, but certainly in those forward positions he's very threatening at times and stuff like that. It was kind of an interesting game. You seen what Wolves deploying there, which is kind of weird. They deployed a 4-5-1. I thought that Lopetegui might have went a bit more adventurous, looking at the lineups and stuff like that, and also looking at the fact that they were at home, coming off a big win, and of course we were struggling, after getting slapped up by Brighton. But this was a very different Liverpool side that the gaffer put out. And certainly starting with Carvalho up front, Gakpo in the middle, and Harvey Elliott on the right, Thiago, Bietic. What can we say about Stefan Bietic? Absolutely superb tonight. Um, this is a guy who should be starting now regular basis. This match, although it's an FA Cup game and stuff like that, and I'm sure Liverpool had one eye on the Chelsea game coming as well, but we do want to put up more of a defence of our crown, if you like, and we are the defending champions in this cup, especially after going out of the Carabao Cup. To go out of this at the first hurdle would have been very disappointing. Um, but this guy is a proper baller, isn't he? He gets stuck in. He doesn't shirk a challenge. Again, at times his passing at times was a slightly off and stuff like that, but you can allow for that with the young lad. But another absolutely outstanding performance for him. What a baller he is as well. Keita, I have to say, I put my hand up. I do complain about him a lot, and I think his time has come at Liverpool. But he put in a decent shift today, and you could see towards the end of the game he was getting a little bit tired in the last 10 to 15 minutes. But that's just probably a lack of game time and stuff like that, you know. And Thiago on the other side, and how nice must it have been from Thiago? I mean, you look at Thiago tonight, the way he controlled the game and the way he played those passes and stuff like that. He just looked like he was in control of the game at times. And what happens is he had that energy around him. So he had Bietic beside him, he had Keita working hard and stuff like that. And he must have felt a lot better than when you're in there and you're labouring at times with the guys he's had to play with. So you could feel that Thiago, he just felt a bit more freedom and stuff like that. And as such, he was getting a bit more time to be able to pick a pass and stuff like that and really try and control the game because he was kind of like that senior guy out there, you know. Kyle in the comments, how are you, Kyle? Big win at the weekend. Delighted for you, mate. Young Ellie is a proper player, Niall, mate. I hear he's coming to us. No way, mate. No, we'll be keeping him a little bit longer, I would imagine. You won't be getting him yet. Maybe Keita is. I heard Keita might be linked, which is all right. And I was saying today, if you want him, I'll drive him down to you. But yeah, sexy noises for the win. Absolutely. I don't know if anyone tuned in the BBC. My God, that was some crack at the start of the game and stuff like that in the studio. Good Lord. Um, Certainly wasn't the what did you say earlier, Morris? That the Harvey Elliott's goal wasn't the loudest the loudest noise of the night or something like that. Acer's in the comments. Elliot, what a goal. Brighton now on Sunday, the 28th of January. Yeah, we roll on to Brighton now again, back at the Amex, as far as I know. That'll be a tough one as well. But at that stage, maybe I hear Jota's back in training and stuff like that. So we might have a few players back for that. And look, if we can get the ball rolling now and start playing a little bit, make the changes, take players out when they're not performing and stuff like that, and show them that it's not you're not going to coast through this team, that there is competition there and players can come in and play. You never know, might be able to go to the MX and look like we owed them. Coyle back in. Yeah, what did Morris say? Loudest screamer. Yeah, absolutely. The loudest screamer wasn't Elliot's goal. Yeah, absolutely. Quality, Morris. Coyle back in as well. You can keep him, bud. Yeah, massive win on Sunday. Hopefully we beat the Scum this Sunday. Yeah, certainly should. Keep the ball rolling. My favourite moment of the season, even better than all the Chelsea losses. Big up, Morris. Subscribe to your channel too, mate. Awesome. That's it. Share the love, lads, on all these podcasts. Share the love. I have to say as well, I was a little bit concerned. I seen Joe Gomez going into the centre with Big Ebu. Costas on the left, who I don't normally worry about a little bit, but just looked a tad off it tonight. Just a tad off it. Maybe it was a case that the other guys were playing so well, but just looked a tad off at Costas. Queeveen and goals. Have you ever seen a guy as laid back as Queeveen? Just nothing phases him at all, you know, and he's so relaxed. He's that laid back, he's nearly horizontal. It's mad. Ace was in the comments. Bang Bros was on the wall screen. Yeah, absolutely. It was mad. Morris did the same. Subscribe to your channel there, Coyle, and big up, Morris. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be sharing the love all through this season and stuff like that. As we follow the Gunners on their title charge, as we'll say. So yeah, interesting lineup. 4-3-3 again. I always worry a little bit about, but I have to say, first half, how bad were Wolves? When you look at the stats and stuff like that, Wolves were way off it. I've never seen them as flat. They were coming in off the back of a big win against West Ham, which kept them out of the bottom three and dropped West Ham in there at the weekend. As I said, we were coming off that terrible Brighton performance. So Wolves could have took solace in that. Maybe coming into the game, maybe Wolves, underestimated us. Maybe that's the case there and stuff like that. But I thought the energy that we brought tonight, I seen things like where we were attacking as a unit, we were supporting as a unit, we were protecting the back line, we were defending as a unit and stuff like that. So some of that good stuff that we normally do, you could see was coming back there. And some of those changes obviously benefited that by putting the youth in there and bringing that bit of energy and stuff like that. Gakpo again, still trying to find his feet, still trying to, unlucky a few times, getting caught offside and stuff like that. But still trying to bed in and still trying to figure out where he's at with the team and stuff like that. But he'll get there. There's no doubt about it. But absolutely excellent from the rest of the team and stuff like that. They did really, really well. And Gakpo, he'll take a bit of time to settle in. Obviously, he's after coming in at a time where we're kind of really poor and struggling at the moment. So again, it might be taking a bit more time for him to settle in. I think he will come good and be a good player. Seems to have a bit about him. But again, tonight is all about Carvalho. It's about Bietic. It's about Harvey Elliott. It's all about the new kids on the block. Is this the changing of the guard? There's a time now to unleash this youth, move on, and explain to people that their time somewhat has come. Morris back in the comments. That team showed a bit of fight tonight, maybe a few selection dilemmas ahead. Yeah, that's what I mean. Absolutely. Maybe it's time that these guys start getting picked. Carvalho's been sitting on the bench for the last, 5 games or something like that since he scored against Man City. Why, Jurgen? Why? Why would you not play him over Ox? Why? These are the questions sometimes that have to be asked to the gaffer. You know what I mean? Put them in there. Put Bietic in there. These guys are ready. Give them a run. Harvey's ready. Play him up top. You know what I mean? And let's see how it goes. Salah came on, a couple of changes in the second half. What did we have? Let's have a look at our changes that came in. Obviously, Cody Gakpo went off. Mo Salah came on. Still a little bit concerned about Mo Salah and his form at the moment. Is it me or does he just not look fit? He doesn't seem to have that. It's like he's lost a yard or two. He's struggling at the moment. His close control isn't what it should be. I seen at times in the second half, obviously we were under pressure. We knew Wolves was going to come at us with the changes that they made and stuff like that. Nunez coming on and Cunha coming on and stuff like that. Like they're all really good ballers and stuff like that. And we seen the effect they had when they came on at Anfield as well. But Mo Salah, we keep on hoofing balls up there. I never see the guy ever jumping for a header. I never see him challenging for a ball. His hold up play isn't great at the moment either. And ball keeps on springing off and stuff like that. Is that a confidence thing? I'm not too sure. Tonight he came on, he was playing up the middle. I'm sure he's not happy to be out hugging the sideline at times when he's playing. Gives him an awful lot of work to do to try and put the ball in the back of the net. So I think if we bring him in just that bit more central, I think he'll have more of effect. But he seems to get bullied off the ball a lot easier these days. When you think about the strength of him, when you look at him last season and some of the goals he scored, where he was shrugging off the likes of Ruben Diaz and players like that, showing his actual physical strength. Now he seems to be a lot easier to take the ball off and stuff like that. You rarely see him challenging at times. At times for a ball and stuff like that, when a ball comes in high and stuff like that. Like you seen Ben Doak came on tonight. Ben Doak as well. Shout out to him. Lovely bit of skill. Loves dropping the shoulder and stuff like that. I like that in players who come on and give you that little bit something, play without any fear. How fearful were we at Brighton on Saturday? These boys coming on, no fear at all, nothing to lose. Get out there, make a name for yourself. But you see Salah there not challenging for the ball, and Ben Doak then dives in and dives between two big players trying to win the header and stuff like that. Ben Doak's only a little nipper and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So some of these young lads are coming on now. These are the guys, and they're showing the senior players this is what about. You seen Harvey's celebration for the goal and all, hitting the badge and all. This is what it means to these guys. These are the new breed coming through now. They have to be given a chance. There's no place anymore, no sentiment. Stick to what you're saying. There's nothing wrong with being loyal, but being too loyal and stuff like that. And maybe that comment and maybe some of the questions that Klopp's been getting over the last few pressers and stuff like that, maybe the penny's starting to hit home, and maybe he's thinking a bit introverted now and thinking about himself and going, well, have I been? And start questioning himself and maybe make changes on that. So it was great to see that today, those young lads getting their chance and stuff like that. So high on that Bietic lad. I think he's an absolute baller, Coyle back in the comments. Niall, what did you think about Kanata? He's solid enough, I think. He is, but he had a poor outing there at the weekend against Brighton and stuff like that, which is kind of out of character for him. And I don't know whether it's a case that he feels that he has to be covering all the time and stuff like that. He does an unbelievable amount of covering sometimes for Trent and stuff like that, and also at times, depending on which side he's on, for Robbo as well. But yeah, he's a beast, Coyle, isn't he? Serious baller and stuff like that, tends to shut stuff down and stuff like that. Again, like the rest of the team, we were going through a little bit of a confidence thing. Hopefully the win today and moving on to the next round, the FA Cup, can bring the team up a little bit and stuff like that, Morris back in the comments, sounded like someone was getting battered with a BBC tonight. No, yeah, absolutely. It was absolutely crazy. I wonder what the fallout of that is going to be. It should be electric and stuff like that. And then the lights going out, there was a power failure and stuff like that. So, God, the omens weren't good, really, at the start of the game, where they called back in. Salah signed his huge contract, and he hasn't been the same since. Same with Araba and Ozil. They signed like big contracts, and that was the end of them. The funny thing about it, Coyle, though, I know you mentioned that, but Salah, 6 months even before he got that contract, he wasn't good. Salah hasn't been good since the AFCON. His form has been terrible since the AFCON, and yeah, people will turn around and go, yeah, but look at the goals and look at the assists and all that kind of stuff, and that's all well and good, but if you actually dissect down his play and stuff like that, and even if you look at some of the goals he got and there's penalties in there and stuff like that, when's the last time you see Mo Salah pick up a ball, beat two players on the edge of the box and curl it into the far corner, which was a bi-weekly occurrence for him at one stage and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So it's a real struggle at times this season. He has showed up a couple of the Champions League games and things like that, and there's a kind of a consistency to him, but nowhere near Mo Salah level, and that's the way I want to put it. For most teams, he will be okay outside of the top four and stuff like that, but I think at the moment he's really struggling with his form and stuff like that, and you seen him in the Brighton game, he never impacted it at all. And I often say, I know people turn around and go, oh, but these front players, they don't get service. If I'm a front player on the pitch, if I'm not getting the service, I'm going to drop back and I'm going to get involved in the game. We see it with Harry Kane a lot and stuff like that, where he has to drop deep to get involved in the game for Spurs and stuff like that. And that's what you expect out of your players. Get back there, get involved. If you want the ball, go get the ball. It's not always about the ball being put on a play for you. You have to work hard. Team has to work hard all the time. We need 100% commitment 100% of the time. But good point, Kyle. Yeah, absolutely. He has been struggling, certainly since the AFCON. Outside that, Morris Sky would have shit the bed, but the lads in studio were great crack about it. Yeah, I've never seen Paul Ince look so uncomfortable. And Lineker with the glasses, doesn't he look like that gremlin out of the gremlin out of the movie where he does like Frank Sinatra? I don't know what Lineker's like with the glasses. And Danny Murphy just kept on trying to talk about the football and be professional as he always does. But Danny be used to that kind of crack. He's on Talksport quite a bit, and they're always at it and stuff like that with the applause and stuff like that. So he'd be well used to it. Incy looked real uncomfortable. Incy was trying to talk about football as well, but they were holding it in. But I'm sure when the cameras went off and the boys were cracking up, wondering what the hell. But absolutely hilarious. No doubt BBC will come out with an apology, but look, all good and fun and games, isn't it? All good and fun and games. But yeah, big performance for the Reds tonight. If you look at the stats, quick look at the stats. Wolves very, very flat first half and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Really didn't come out of the blocks at all. Liverpool really strong in the first half. Energy, press, as a unit. Like the one thing I like to see today is when one player pressed, as the ball came across, the other player was going and pressed. They were forcing the issue all the time. Look at that. Just compare that game today against that Brighton game on Saturday. Lethargic, fear, cowardness, all that kind of stuff. None of that was there today. Stefan Bietic getting stuck into that Wolves midfield, which is a very, very good midfield. A very good midfield with players in there that a lot of teams want to sign. We've even been linked with Ruben Neves in the last few days and stuff like that, so we know how good they are. Possession 57-43, so Wolves obviously with the more possession, which you would expect. 4 corners to 2, and of course, and offsides 5-3 in our favour. With us getting the 5, a lot of them Cody Gap going that just playing on the player's shoulder, but he will come in time and stuff like that, and he will come good. We're hearing that Darwin Núñez is back now. He might be available for the Chelsea game. Let's see, the gaffer might have a few selection problems now. Milner looked really good tonight as well, putting in a good captain shift as well. And what I liked about James Milner today, he was vocal. He was vocal. He was out there. He was coaching the younger lads. He was telling lads where they should be. Really, really vocal. When's the last time a player was vocal? There was no word out of a Liverpool player last Saturday. Not a word out of him. So it was great to see James Milner in front voice telling people, this is what I want and stuff like that and all, you know. And that's what I'd like to see out of James Milner and nothing less. And that's what we should be getting out of Jordan Henderson that we haven't been getting for weeks. And that's the problem. That is the problem, especially when you've got young guys in there who need that bit of coaching and stuff like that. So it was great to see. Let's get into these player ratings. So nice, isn't it, to do a match reaction where you put in a shift. We scored early in the 13th minute. Harvey, of course, getting the man of the match, but we had to see out from the 13th minute all the way through. Created a few chances ourselves. Probably could have scored 1 or 2. Wolves had a couple of good chances. On another day, the boy Kuna had a couple of really good chances. Could have put them away, but didn't. But having said that, let's see how it goes. Player ratings. Quavy and Callagher up first. Not really tested anywhere near what he thought he would be for sure. Gave him a 6 out of 10. Didn't have a lot to do. Came for a couple of balls. Distribution was where it should be and stuff like that. But that's as handy United as Quavy and Callagher would expect at Molyneux in an FA Cup tie replay. James Milner. Gave him a 6 again. Solid from James Milner. Nothing crazy, just what you would expect from James, just a solid professional performance. But it was the side of him as the captain and stuff like that, and how vocal he was. That was so important. His own play was decent. 6 out of 10. Joe Gomez, 6 out of 10 as well. Did well, and also did well when switched out to the right when Nat Phillips came on and stuff like that. Put in a solid performance again. Joe Gomez, something that the fan base has been very critical of, and also we've been very critical on the podcast of him as well, whether he's good enough or not and stuff like that. But tonight he was on it tonight. Couple of nice touches in the Wolves box as well and stuff like that. And this is what I liked as well. When we got forward tonight, we were joining and supporting the forward play and stuff like that. When we got forward the other day against Brighton, who was there when we got forward? If we even got forward, there was no one supporting the play and stuff like that. And sometimes when you turn the ball over like that, you've got a guy like Harvey on one side, Carvalho on the other side, you have to get up there and join the play and stuff like that to create the chances. Abraham Konate, gave him a 6 as well. Dealt with what he had to deal with, you know, without being absolutely spectacular. Just put in a good shift tonight. Solid performance from Ebu. Happy enough for that. Costas, you know, his endeavour and all was brilliant tonight and stuff like that. Give him a 6 out of 10. Again, these are solid performances. If you think about the weekend, these guys were unrateable at the weekend. Some of these players that played, absolutely unrateable. But Costas, I thought tonight, first half especially, just slightly off it a little bit. I think he gave Adama Traore just a bit too much respect. But I loved when Adama broke in to take that shot. And before he took the shot, he turned around to Ben downstairs and they said, we've nothing to worry about there. Adama Traore barely hit the stand near along the goal. So happy enough with that, you know. Morris back in the comments. I did that one already. This one here is the one you want. Now moaning tonight from Liverpool fans, and the night started off with a lot of moaning. Yeah, absolutely. They did enough moaning at the start. We couldn't join them, but certainly a much better performance. And this is what we want. Listen, even if the result hadn't gone our way tonight, the youth, the effort, the shift that we put in, that's what we want to see. It's not about getting beaten. It's about getting beaten in a certain way if you do lose. You know, Thiago in there, give him a 6. He was influential enough and stuff like that, but I think what happened is I think the younger lads just stole the thunder from some of these guys. Sometimes we talk about how great players are sometimes and you don't recognise what they do and stuff like that. But I thought Thiago tonight, I thought he was on. I thought a few good passes and, you know, some link-up play and stuff like that. And getting stuck in as well. That tackle on Ruben Neves where he came around the side of him and took the ball off him was an absolute thing of beauty. And isn't it beautiful to see Thiago Alcantara playing with that bit of freedom, not worried about getting injured, that we don't lose and stuff like that. Touch wood, I don't want to hear tomorrow that there's any injuries, but he put in a great shift tonight, Thiago did, and getting stuck in all the time. And that's something that we've mentioned over the last few weeks. Him getting stuck in has been a key feature, not just his passing and his positivity and going forward and stuff like that. So delighted for Thiago and getting a great run on the side as well. Stefan Bietic, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I think I am. 7 out of 10. Could have given him a bit more maybe if we wanted. Energetic performance from the youngster. Absolutely brilliant. He was fantastic in midfield. Breaking up play, getting stuck in. No fear at all. Let's get stuck into these guys. Relish the opportunity. Relish the challenge and stuff like that. I'm sure the gaffer was proud as punch of him and stuff like that. But he's a super little baller and he's one that we should continue developing. He should be constantly getting used when appropriate. But I tell you, he's given the gaffer a few headaches maybe come Saturday in the Chelsea game. Let's see what happens. That we don't want to revert to type. Don't revert to type. I don't want to see Ox or any of that now. Don't revert to type. Naby Keita, of course, we spoke about already. The man who's, you know, contract talks have broken down, so it looks like he's going to head off in the summer on a free. This talk, he was linked to Arsenal. He may go in the window. Who knows? 6 out of 10. Erratic at times in some of his play and stuff like that and all. And kind of played his part in the game, of course, and stuff like that. Got stuck in when he had to. But he just looks like a player. He's like a player. When you compare him to the younger guys out there, he just looks like a player who's fed up. He looks like a player who can't wait to get the last bus out of Liverpool kind of thing. You know what I mean? And look, we're going to grant him his wish. And look, thanks for your time here. It hasn't been a success. Both sides have had a part to play in it, really. You know, he's been done down with injuries and stuff like that, but at times he hasn't done himself any favours either. He comes across to me to be quite a negative kind of person, you know what I mean? And he's playing with that bit of negativity. And at times he just, you know, obviously he got tired towards the end of the game and stuff like that. If you look last 10, 15 minutes, he was kind of plodding around a little bit and stuff like that. But yeah, that sums up Naby Keita. Harvey Elliott, 8 out of 10. Could have given Harvey even a 9. Scored a brilliant goal. What a fantastic goal. And we know how good Jose Sa is in goals. So that's not an easy thing to do, to put a goal like that past him. But took the goal. But more so than the goal, let's talk about the celebration. Let's talk about the relief. Let's talk about the confidence that it gave this lad. Go and do it again and again and again. He absolutely harassed the Wolves defence at times with the press and stuff like that. Some nice little intricate play and stuff like that. Played some nice balls in at times as well. His link-up play was really, really good. And Harvey was on it tonight. This was a guy who went out on a mission. And let me remind you, Liverpool players, this is a kid. This is a kid who's going out there and doing what we like to see. So hats off to Harvey Elliott, man of the match. Great goal, 8 out of 10. Cody Gapgo gave a 6 out of 10. again, as I said, just a little bit off it, a little bit wayward, playing on the player's shoulder and sometimes beyond it. Got caught offside a number of times and stuff like that. But he will find his way as he does it. Remember, he's come into a team at the moment that's been getting battered and real low on confidence and stuff like that. So I'm sure training hasn't even been fun, but I'm sure when the boys rock up tomorrow to training will be a lot more fun. Some of the smiles might be back there as well. I hope the smile is back on the gaffer, because he deserves it. He was I was so devastated for him the other day, having to go over and apologise to the fans. And it was horrible that the players had put him in that position as well, you know. But he looked at it. He looked all gangster tonight with the beanie on the head and everything and all. I like that, Jurgen. Can the baseball cap for a while. Get the beanie on you. Proper gangster. Like it. Fabio Carvalho, gave him a 6 tonight. Nearly a very good performance, but really, really good, and energy again. Obviously with a point to prove. But at times it just didn't quite happen for him and stuff like that. But always bringing the energy, really good in the press as well at times and stuff like that. But at times just a little bit unlucky. And it was nice to see the boy out there and with a point to prove. And I think he gave the gaffer something to think about. Mo Salah came on 66 for Gakpo. Didn't really rate him, as I said about Mo. It's difficult to judge Mo at the moment, isn't it? Because with the way the team is playing and having him out wide, and I think Jurgen just needs to figure out what he wants to do with Mo Salah, really. Where do we get the best out of him? Why, we can't be asking him to do the amount of work he needs to do to get into a scoring position, having to be 2-3 players, open up stuff and things like that. A lot of that work somewhere along the line has to be done for him, and he's the guy who needs to arrive on it. So I think that's just something that has to be figured out. Curtis Jones came on for Carvalho in 66 minutes. A little bit of nice play from Curtis and stuff like that. Had that shot that he just dragged slightly wide from the left-hand side, that kind of fizzled out a little bit. But again, Curtis, as I said, big season for Curtis. A lot to prove this year. If he wants to remain in that squad next season and he wants to remain around the first team at Liverpool, he has a big point to prove this season. And when he gets chances like tonight, he needs to come on and make a statement. Nat Phillips came on for Milner. Milner looked like he had done, like he's only back off injury and stuff like that, but he was in there, put in a proper shift as a captain. And obviously Nat moved into the centre and Joe moved out to the right. Not a bad switch and a good option to have there. I do like Nat Phillips, I like Nat Phillips. Got stuck in there, got the yellow card, but not scared to get stuck in. You know what I mean? The one thing you get with Nat Phillips as well, there's no hesitation and stuff like that. He's 100% in, even if he gives away a free kick or whatever it is. Good to see. And then on 75, Ben Doak came on for Stefan Bietic. Was suffering with a little bit of cramp. Again, only back himself from injury as well. I think he was out for a week or two or something like that. But it was great to see Ben Doe came on, brought the energy in, all beating players, dropping the shoulder, and especially going in those two players with that header, and he tried to dive through the middle of them. And as I stated earlier, Mo Salah really not fighting for those headers up there and holding up that play and stuff like that. But good to see Ben Doak. Loves laying off the ball, doesn't be wasteful with the ball, uses the ball in a real good way. Very progressive and stuff like that. I do like Ben Doak. Again, another player who come in. And Fabinho in 75 came on for Thiago. Came back into the game. Fabinho, he didn't have a lot to do, a couple of clearances and stuff like that, but went in there and marshalled what he had to do. Thiago went off, of course. Interesting kind of change there. You have Thiago coming on, Fabinho coming off. So obviously Ben Doak shifted up into the top, and obviously Curtis dropped back into the midfield. So it kind of pittered out then as a game, kind of when we made those changes. As it would happen, we were taking off a lot of the energy and some of the youth and stuff like that, and the creativity. So yeah, all in all, decent performance, well done. Bit more confidence about us. Good to see the gaffer ringing the changes. Nice to see the young lads doing their bit and looking really, really impressive. Roll on Saturday. And we have Chelsea at Anfield. I'm really looking forward to that now. We can look forward to it with a little bit of a smile. We've got 4 days to prepare for it and stuff like that. So the guys will be well refreshed. But a nice little dilemma there now for the gaffer. Keep on wearing the beanie. It must be a good luck charm and stuff like that. Into the next round against Brighton at the Amex. I will be bringing you a preview for the Chelsea game, of course. And I think I'm going to be on the Chelsea Roar as well, doing a preview with Ian on his Chelsea channel with himself and Alex. So we'll do that too as well. I will be back on Thursday with Thursday Tier Talk. Don't forget that. We'll be doing a preview for all the weekend's games. Darren will be back with me then. We'll be doing Beat the Bookie, where we give you all our tips for the weekend. We hope you did well out of the ones last week. A couple of them came up. And we'll be also looking at some more transfer news. And we'll be talking about the ownership. Sir Jim Ratcliffe entering the bidding war for Man United, and also huge links with Qatar for the Liverpool ownership and stuff like that, as reported by Al Jazeera and Bloomberg and stuff like that. So we look at the two of them, as well as the latest transfers and stuff like that. Preview for the Premier League. Join us 9 o'clock on Thursday and beat the bookie. Until then, a pleasure as always. Always like on the video or dislike if you're not happy, and let us know in the comments what you think. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you know when we go live. And Morris ends out the show tonight. Do you think Elliot can hit the heights of Mason Mount? Oh my God. Why you use him as the benchmark? Let's see. And obviously Declan Rice being linked to Arsenal as well. Let's see what happens there. Until next time, folks, an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining me. If you want to contact the show, the Upper Tier Podcast at gmail.com. You'll also get us Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. We're out there. Shankly Sessions for the Liverpool stuff, the Upper Tier for all the other football and related matters. And we will see you on Thursday.